Hello there, I'm Trevor.
And I'm Jessica. And on this episode of Somewhere in the Middle, we're at the Walt Disney Family Museum in San Francisco.
As you guys know, we're huge Disney fans, so come along as we check out this museum here in San Francisco. Let's go. Tucked away in San Francisco's historic Presidio, the Walt Disney Family Museum is a tribute to the man whose imagination changed the world. Founded by Walt's daughter, Diane Disney Miller, and opened in 2009, the museum tells Walt's story through his own words, rare artifacts, and unforgettable innovations. With views of the Golden Gate Bridge and a layout as thoughtfully crafted as a Disney classic, the museum unfolds across 10 galleries, each one a chapter into Walt's incredible journey. Let's head inside and follow the story of Walt Disney, from humble beginnings to a lasting legacy. The first gallery of the Walt Disney Family Museum is called Early Beginnings, and it explores the roots of Walt Disney's creative journey. As a teenager, Walt joined his high school paper, The Voice, where he illustrated stories, drew cartoons, and took photos. It was his first real outlet to express himself, and a sign of what was to come. At just 20, he launched his first animation studio, Laugh-O-Gram Films. It went bankrupt in less than 2 years, but Walt later called it a good, hard failure, a lesson that would serve him well. While working at the Kansas City Film and Ad Company, Walt started experimenting with a borrowed stop-motion camera. From those garage experiments came the New Men Laugh-O-Grams, clever little animations that showed his gift for visual storytelling. And when World War I broke out, Walt wasn't old enough to enlist, so he changed a 1 to a 0 on his birth date and joined the Red Cross in France. This first gallery really pushed us in. Seeing Walt's family photos was especially touching. One shot of his Uncle Mike stopped us cold. He looks just like our son Caleb. Jessica had always said when Caleb was born that he looked like here again? And somehow, Uncle Mike had that exact same face. Gallery 2 is called The Move to Hollywood, and it begins in a really fun way. You step into an elevator designed like a train cabin, just like the one Walt took when he left Kansas City to chase his dreams in California. One of his first big ideas was the Alice comedies, a live-action girl in a cartoon world. While others were animating over real actors, Walt flipped the concept, and it worked. The gallery features a heartfelt letter Walt wrote to Virginia Davis's mom, convincing her to move the family out west so Virginia could star in the new series. With that, Walt and his brother Roy launched the Walt Disney Brothers Cartoon Studio. But early success didn't come easy. Walt lost the rights to his character Oswald the Lucky Rabbit in a bad business deal. And on the train ride home, he started sketching a new character, Mortimer Mouse. His wife Lillian suggested a better name, Mickey. This gallery also touches on Walt's personal life. Not long after opening the studio, he met one of his inkers, Lillian Bounds. They were married the following summer, and by all accounts, it was a sweet mutual connection from the start. We absolutely enjoyed this section, especially watching the original Alice comedies. And even though I'd heard the story of Oswald and Mickey before, seeing the original drawings and the letters made it feel all fresh again.
Gallery 3 is exploring new horizons, and this is where things really started connecting to our childhood memories. Classics like The Skeleton Dance, The Three Little Pigs, and Ferdinand the Bull. Walt was determined to bring more depth to his characters. With the 1933 Three Little Pigs, he began giving each pig a distinct personality through their movements, expressions, and timing. This focus on character animation became a defining part of Disney storytelling. Music was always in Walt's mind when imagining cartoons. He tested that vision with The Skeleton Dance, blending movement and melody in ways no one had before. The silly symphonies weren't just fun, they were Walt's animation lab, pushing the boundaries of what cartoons could do. Another major breakthrough from this era was the storyboard, With shorts like Ferdinand the Bull, Walt's team could shuffle sketches around and refine the narrative visually before animating anything. It's a process still used across animation and film today. The gallery also touches on Walt's growing family. The day after his daughter Diane was born, a local paper joked that Mickey Mouse has a daughter. A few years later, Walt and Lily adopted their second daughter, Sharon. We lingered in this gallery longer than most, just soaking in the sketches, storyboards, and color tests from those unforgettable cartoons. It really was a delightful look back at roots of Disney magic. Gallery 4 is called Transition into Features, and it zeroes in on Walt's ambitious leap into uncharted territory, creating the first full-length animated feature, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. At the heart of it all was the Moviola, an early editing machine Walt used to review daily animation footage. He constantly reworked scenes until every moment matched the story he envisioned. One of the hardest choices he made was cutting an elaborate sequence where the dwarfs eat soup. It took over a year and a half to animate, but Walt knew it didn't move the story forward, so it was left on the cutting room floor. Giving each dwarf a unique personality was another challenge. Walt's solution was simple but brilliant. Start with descriptive names. From Dopey to Doc, those names helped shape their characters and made them unforgettable.
You're sneezy.
The gallery also reminds us that behind all the creative drive, Walt was a family man. He made a point not to bring work home, wanting to keep his time with Lily and their daughters separate and special. Seeing the Moviola in person was a highlight. It really made us appreciate how different and labor-intensive animation was back then. This gallery gave us a deeper respect for just how much was riding on Snow White and how much Walt was willing to risk to make it perfect.
Gallery 5, New Success and Greater Ambition, really shows Walt raising the bar. With Pinocchio, he introduced the character model department, complete with sculpted 3D models to help animators keep characters consistent. For Bambi, he brought in live animals into the studio, blending realism with personality like never before. Fantasia pushed the envelope even further, combining classical music with stunning visuals and a brand new system called Fantasound. It was bold, ambitious, and ahead of its time. This gallery also houses the multiplane camera, one of Walt's most important inventions. Seeing the actual setup that gave Disney films their signature depth, that was a real highlight. And we loved the personal story of Walt's daughter asking him for an autograph, realizing only then her dad was the Walt Disney. For Jess and me, the blend of family and storytelling here really hit home. These films shaped our childhoods, and now they're shaping the way we share stories with our own kids. As a U.S. history teacher, Gallery 6 hit a special chord for me. Patriotic Contribution shows how Walt and the studio answered the call during World War II, producing training films, morale boosters, and propaganda pieces. I've shown my students victory through air power to help explain blitzkrieg tactics, so seeing it represented here was powerful. Just days after Pearl Harbor, the Army literally moved into the studio lot, turning animation desks into wartime command centers. Walt also led a goodwill tour of South America, resulting in the vibrant Saludos Amigos and The Three Caballeros, films that blended diplomacy with Disney magic. And even amid wartime urgency, family remained at the heart of it all. Walt's daughters roller skated and rode bikes around the studio lot, sharing space with soldiers. This gallery reminded us that even in times of war, Walt found ways to serve his country with creativity, conviction, and a deep love for storytelling.
Gallery 7 was the most interactive part of the museum, letting us dive into clips from Peter Pan, Cinderella, Wind in the Willows, and The Adventures of Ichabod Crane. This section showed Walt's leap into live action, starting with Song of the South, which, despite its controversy, earned 2 Academy Awards, and the groundbreaking underwater work in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. A highlight we didn't expect, Walt's love of miniatures. He collected them passionately, dreaming of a traveling showcase called Disneylandia. And through it all, he was still just dad, driving his daughters to school every day. This gallery captured Walt's drive to build, experiment, and stay grounded in family, even as he reimagined what Disney could be.
Gallery 8 was a breath of fresh air, literally. A glass hallway opened up to stunning views of the Golden Gate Bridge as we explored Walt's true-life adventures. These nature documentaries broke ground by combining professional cinematography with compelling storytelling, helping people to see the world in a whole new way. One unforgettable moment? Sitting on the bench. Yes, the very one where Walt dreamed up Disneyland while watching his daughters ride the carousel at Griffith Park. It's not just a photo op, it's a quiet, powerful connection to the origin of a big idea. This gallery beautifully bridged Walt's love of nature with his dream for something even bigger, a place where families could play together.
Gallery 9 was pure magic. As lifelong Disney fans, Magic Key holders, parents of 4 who've raised our family making memories in the parks, this gallery hit home in the best way. Walt's love of trains, his dream of Disneyland, and his visionary ideas for the future were all on display. From original Autopia cars and the Mark Twain model to interactive tiki birds and his personal train, this space captured the wonder and detail Walt poured into every inch of the park. The swirling walkway around the massive Disneyland model made it easy to slow down and take it all in. We loved learning about his dream for EPCOT, an actual functioning city of tomorrow, and how he risked everything by forming WED Enterprise to bring Disneyland to life when no one else believed in it. One sweet story we didn't know, Walt and Lily celebrated their 30th wedding anniversary inside the Golden Horseshoe just days before opening day, with Walt literally climbing down to the stage, beaming. Being in this gallery with our daughter during her senior year, our youngest about to spread her wings, it felt especially meaningful. Touring a museum that honors the man behind the place we've played together for decades, it was nothing short of a full circle moment.
The final gallery in the Walt Disney Family Museum is a space of reflection, a quiet, powerful tribute to a man who changed the world. Walt Disney passed away on this December 15th, 1966, just 10 days after his 65th birthday. As someone in my late 40s, 65 feels far too young. It's tragic to think of how much more he could have given, and yet he gave us so much. Walt's life was one of relentless imagination, innovation, and above all, service. That's something I deeply relate to. As a teacher, I believe in serving others, in leaving something behind that matters. Walt did that on a global scale, creating joy, memories, and a legacy that continues to inspire generation after generation. I spent quite a bit of time in this last room, quietly reflecting, thinking of my own core memories, the ones I've made with my family, the ones others carry from visits to the parks, and the memories Walt shared with his own family. I thought about the light above the firehouse on Main Street, the one that stays on in Walt's apartment. It's a reminder that his spirit is still with us, that his presence still lives in every smile, every laugh, and every memory made in the parks. Thank you, Walt, for dreaming so big, for playing your part in making this world a little brighter. And thank you for leaving the light on. So thanks for joining us in this episode as we checked out the Walt Disney Family Museum. As you guys can see in this episode, there's a lot. If you are a fan of Walt Disney Family, Walt Disney brand, this is a place for you to come. And, here in San Francisco, something nice, a little touristy to do.
Yeah, it was nice taking a deep dive into Walt's more family life, things I didn't know before.
Yeah, I mean, we're huge park goers, so to get a deeper intake was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us in this episode, and we'll see you in the next one. Auf Wiedersehen.